Have you got your first Christmas present from me?
I have.
You have. Now, sometimes I say I've got you something, and sometimes you say you're not going to be happy if it's a severed head, don't you?
Yeah.
What have I bought you?
A severed head.
A severed head. Do you want to show everyone your severed head?
It's Zaphod.
Who?
Zaphod.
Put it up a little bit. Is his head bigger than your head?
Yeah, man.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
And what are you going to do with your severed head?
I'm going to put my VR units on it, so it should fit quite nicely on there.
Yeah. It's a shame they have the seam down the middle so obvious, isn't it? But they all had that, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I suppose spare blown into the mould, so you can't get rid of that.
I can't do anything about that.
It's a funky blue, I do like it.
What was it, £26, was it? Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll put a link in the description if anyone else would like a severed
Link
head.
down below.
Okay.
Or maybe there, or maybe there.
No, it's definitely going to be down
Definitely
there.
Affiliate link.
What was that?
Use my affiliate
Yes,
link.
please. Good morning, good morning, good morning, you lovely lot. It's probably nearly lunchtime, to be fair, if not lunchtime. I'm walking Rocky, walking my boys, been to see a lady about a dog. I might be grabbing a cup of tea on my way back from town, because I'm going to head towards town. Come in, puppies! I can't let Rocky off here because he won't come back. It's a little bit of socialisation. Well, not socialisation, what's the word I'm looking for? Desensitising. More of urban environment, but without it being full on in the town for Link. Build up his confidence a little bit. Been to see a lady about looking after a couple of dogs and a couple of cats, doing some pet sits for them. Very nice family. Good afternoon. I finished the dog walk. I might have had a naughty cake. It's not going to help my weight, is it? In fairness, calorie wise, all I've had is a yoghurt. Did I have a yoghurt? I think that's all I had was a yoghurt. So, yeah. I think a cake is acceptable as a meal if you've only had a yoghurt. That works, right? And a cup of tea. Because if juggling 3 dogs on leads like a maypole, and a cake, and a takeaway cup of tea, you know, isn't hard enough. I just, you know, I like to make my life difficult. Actually, the juggling the dogs was hard enough, and then I go adding 2 more bits to it. Never mind. I'm sitting, waiting for Kenzie now to come out of school. He's going to drive home, and then I'm going to clean his car out because I've made it very dirty with all the dogs. He did hoover it and dust it and everything, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And I've taken the dogs out in it lots, and they've got hair and everything. In fairness, they have like a thing on the back seat that gathers all the hair together, but they have jumped in the front when they've been off there. Obviously they're harnessed in now, but yeah, they jump into the front if they're not harnessed. Like if we're stopped waiting for Kenzie or something, sometimes I'll let them off. Anywho, I'm just waffling really. How is everyone? How's everyone doing? I did want to touch briefly on this is for a friend, Paul. His unfortunately his mum had a catastrophic stroke, and she's currently at end of life, and he has asked me if I would put some information in the description below to draw people's attention to the importance of recognising a stroke, and how it affects people. I mean, his mum's stroke was big, so you know, an ambulance was called straight away, but they're not all like that. Some of them can be very minor, and they can still do just as much damage if not picked up straight away. So I wanted to mention it here, so that people can look in the description below. Maybe just go to the link and familiarise yourself, because you don't know when it might be useful. You don't know, you could be in town, you could be in a cafe, and suddenly something happens to someone you're with or a stranger, and you might just be able to help. So I'm putting that link below for you. And I just want to send Paul huge amounts of love, really, and healing vibes at this really tricky time. He is going through a situation that I can't even begin to imagine. So yeah, my heartfelt love goes out to him and his family for that situation. So what else can I tell you? What else is going on in my life right now? I am off to Arundel. Did I tell you this? I'm picking Spog up this afternoon. When Lee gets in from work, I'm picking Spog up. Completely new clutch setup, clutch cylinder, and whatever else comes with that after it exploded itself everywhere. Yep, not great. So now I need to sign a what do you call it this time? What are they called? Payment plan things. I believe it's what is it? Interest free. It's just 4 installments. So it will be 4 installments of £200 to pay for it, and I can do that monthly. So that just makes things a little easier before Christmas. I've got Lee's birthday coming up 2 days after Christmas. I've got Christmas coming up, and just general living costs. So I don't really want to be forking out. Well, I haven't got it to fork it out. It's as simple. I was very honest with them. I was very honest. I said, I don't have the money to pay for this. And they were like, we'll sort it out, Pip. Don't you worry. I was like, thanks. And he's been fiddling with costs, like trying to get it as low as possible for me. And like I said, you know, they sorted out the recovery for me, so I didn't have to pay for a recovery vehicle to come and tow it to them, or put it on the back of a recovery vehicle and take it to them. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that. Anyway, I'm going to finish this, and then I need to get out the driver's seat, move into the passenger seat, because Kenzie's going to drive us home. I have to say, he's doing really well. He is, and he says he really likes me being his driving instructor. So we're not going to bother with any driving instructors, because actually he's learnt more from me than he has done in all of his lessons. He spent a lot of money on driving lessons, and he's told me that the driving instructor used to be really sarcastic and shout at him. Well, autistic brain doesn't cope particularly well. I don't think any brain does, to be fair, but autistic brain doesn't cope particularly well with being shouted at or sarcasm, because he doesn't get sarcasm. I mean, he does get sarcasm, to be fair. He's very good at sarcasm, but sometimes he's very literal. So, you know, when the guy says something to him and he's being sarcastic, Kenzie took it to be what he actually wanted him to do. And then the guy would go, why have you done that? He's like, well, because you told me to. I was being sarcastic, wasn't I? So, arse. Look at Timmy. You right there, Timmy? You're so handsome. Did I tell you they were 2 yesterday? It was their birthday. 2 years old. Can you believe they're 2 years old? My babies, Link, I think, is half asleep. He's looking out the window, like just over there. Anyway, stop talking, Pip. What's this been? 6 minutes of waffle. I'll speak to you later. Hello people, I need to show you this beautiful vase of flowers that were delivered to me last night or the night before, I can't remember which. Aren't they pretty? These are like little cabbagey things. Really lovely, bright, beautiful flowers. This is because my neighbour went out the other night, I think it was Sunday night. I had a migraine, I was feeling so rubbish. They went out and left their spooky Halloween decoration on, and all night up until probably about midnight, every time a car went past, it was screeching. and making all these noises, and I had to shut the bedroom window in the end, and I'd messaged and said, would you mind turning it off? And I hated to be a party pooper. It wasn't Halloween, it was past Halloween, but they'd had a bit of a party, Halloween party for the kids, and he was so apologetic. He hadn't seen my message. He was like, I'll get you some booze, I'll get you some chocolate. I was like, honestly, trying to lose weight, you don't need to buy me anything, don't drink, please don't worry about it, you know. He said, next time just come over and punch it. I was like, thank you. But anyway, yeah, his son turned up on the doorstep. His son's Aussie's age. He turned up on the doorstep because they only live across the road, and brought me these beautiful flowers, but I was in the bathtub. So Lee and Kenzie brought them in, and Kenzie put them in a vase for me. So aren't they pretty? One for Bonnie, one for Gently. Gently. Good afternoon, you lovely lot. It is Friday, the put glasses on, Pip, might be able to see. Friday, nope, still can't see. 8th, I believe, of November. So I haven't really vlogged very much. There's going to be some bits that I've thrown into either this video or a separate video. Never know until I come to edit all the footage. But we've had a bit of a day. Well, yesterday was a bit of a day. So I had to leave work early because Lee's mum's had a fall. A neighbour was with her. It was in the house. Neighbour was with her, and she has they'd called an ambulance, but she had to wait a couple of hours for the ambulance because it's not deemed life-threatening, so you have to wait. They couldn't get into a car because I did suggest if we got there before the ambulance, could we get into a car, and they said no. So anyway, Lee went over and I finished doing bits with Emma's because I was working, and then I thought about the dog. Well, I didn't think about the dog actually. Lee's cousin Emma said, what are we going to do about the dog? And I was like, unfortunately, Emma, Lee's cousin, her husband, his sister is end of life this weekend, going into a hospice. She's in her 40s. She's a single mum with a 15-year-old son, and it's heartbreaking. She's in stage 4 cancer. So they've got enough on their plate, and she's usually so good with Lee's mum. She's local and she does so much. She puts our minds at rest a lot because we're not local. It takes us about 40 minutes to go to her, so it's not just like popping after work. The traffic is always terrible, can make the journey a lot longer. So yeah, she was ringing and I said, look, don't worry about anything, you do what you need to do, we've got this covered. So I basically went over yesterday, and her mobility is not great anyway, and I think she has been struggling. So she had already gone to the hospital. Lee was waiting for me to get there so he could let me in. He went to the hospital and he sat in A&E for 12 hours with her. I have blitzed the house for her so that she comes home to a clean home. I really don't know how she's going to manage. She doesn't have a downstairs toilet. She's got reduced mobility in her legs, so she uses her hands to pull herself up, but she's cracked the humerus, quite a nasty break. I mean, there was thought of surgery, and part of me was like, well, if she has surgery, don't want to put surgery on anyone, but if she has surgery, she'll be kept in and we have time to put something in place. She doesn't have a downstairs toilet, she's got the dog. So anyway, I have brought the dog back with me last night at about midnight when we realised they weren't coming home at this point. Because they couldn't get transport, she can't get into Lee's car because of her knees and because of her arm. She can't, with her arm in a sling, she can't get into a car with her knees. They're all swollen. I don't know what needs to be done. They've x-rayed her knees as well yesterday, and they said there's no damage to her knees, but she's had this ongoing for a long time, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So yeah, her mobility isn't great, bless her. So yeah, he has gone now she was dropped off this morning by hospital transport because they put her in a bed in a corridor. They haven't, there was no wards available, but at least she could sleep. So she was in a corridor in A&E, but it meant she could sleep, and it meant that there was someone there to help her if she needed the toilet or anything, and that meant that Lee could come home, get some sleep. He's now gone over, and I've said do not leave her until we know she can get up and down those stairs. We've reached the point, I think, where we are parenting our parents a little bit. I'm finding this, not, you know, mum's not frail, but she's unwell quite a lot now, and yeah, we're having to step up and tell her what to do. You are going to call the doctor. We are going to call 111, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a weird place, isn't it? When you reach a point where you're parenting your parents a bit more. And Lee's mum, you know, we need her to get closer. I think his cousin's worried and we're worried. And because of her mobility, she's not getting out as much. So we are, I think, going to sit her down and have a really deep conversation about, come on, let's see if we can work this out. She's got all those memories of his dad and raising the kids and stuff in that house, and it must be really hard for her to let that go. But I think it's time now that she comes to us, basically, not here because we haven't got space, but moves closer to us so we can keep an eye. Joseph is giving me a challenge, aren't you, Joseph? Go on then, what do I have to do? Right, so what have you got to eat then? You've got to eat, dip any creature in the slime and the soil. So you've got to pick one of those creatures and dunk it in the slime and then the soil. I think you've got to do the soil first. That's it, the slime first to get the soil to stick.
Oh, Joseph.
What do you think? Well, I don't trust you. You eat anything. And that's what I've got to do. Oh, I think I've got to go now. Do the sweets just taste like sweets, or some of them like... I don't trust you anyway. Oh, I've got to eat a spider. That's wrong. I don't do spiders. I want to eat a spider. Does it actually taste like spider? Oh, it doesn't smell good. Oh, good Lord, what is that? What on earth are the flavourings that they've used? Swallow that whole. I don't know what flavour that one was. Oh, some of them have got durian fruit in. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
I bet that one had it in. I bet the spider had that in. I have arrived. My friend is arriving. I don't think he wants to be on camera, so you won't see him. But he is arriving about 12:30. So I think I'm going to go and head towards town. Go and get some shots of various things. There's an old monastery, which is where we're meeting. There's Arundel Castle, which we're not going to go into, but you'll be able to see it. There's the wetlands, there's town, there's all sorts of things. So I'm just going to have a bit of an explore. We found an antique centre. This is very us, this is. Lots of green men. That one looks very stoic.